Hello, so I haven't made a YouTube video in 5 days, and you might be wondering, Carrie, what have you been doing this time? And actually, it's something pretty cool. So I started this as a project that I thought would only last 1 day, but then it kind of blew up from there and I just kept working on it. So you may remember this relic that I showed you a few weeks ago called Elemental, where you combine elements to create other elements and you just keep going forever. But this game was decided entirely by me, as in I was the only person who decided what elements create what. So this game was very limited, and once you find everything that you can find, the game's over. I didn't like that, and I saw people were recommending suggestions, so I wanted to make it easier for me to accept their suggestions. So at Elemental 2, which only took me about a day to make, if it loads at all, I made it read from a text file so that it was much easier for me to add new additions, but it's not loading, and I don't know why. But that's okay because I don't really want to show you Elemental 2. What I want to show you is Elemental 3. So we're going to go to htwins.net/elem3 to go to Elemental 3. And this is the holy grail of elementals because in this version, you don't even need me to get elements approved. All you have to do is get enough votes on an idea and it becomes a reality. It actually gets added to the game. In fact, aside from these first 4 elements, every single element that's been created, and there are over 1,200 of them, have been created by users. So let me show you how that works. First of all, combinations that have already been done, so they're already gonna work. So for example, air plus earth, that's already dust, and people decided that a few days ago. So for example, if I want to see what's up with dust, I can drag it over to this information square, and it shows me that it's the 6th element to be created. It was born 2 days ago at around midnight UTC, and 287 people have discovered it. And yeah, and 25% of people thought that this was the best combination to do. So you can just keep going. So water plus dust equals water pollution, and you can see more stuff. This is element number 46. And remember, this isn't decided by any single person. It's decided by the entire voting public. And up until now, the voting public has really just been around 100 people on the Discord chat. I want to bring more ideas into this game, so I thought I should expand that voting public into my entire YouTube audience. So here we go. Oh, a new element just got voted in. Elements plus 11 equals sodium. But we're not there yet. So we can keep combining. You can also combine elements with themselves. So earth plus earth equals hill. And hill was the 21st element to be created. Certain equations will lead back to pre-existing elements. For example, fire plus fire just equals fire. I'm not really a big fan of that, but that's what the voters decided on, so that's the way it is. But enough of showing you combinations that actually result in elements. Let me show you a combination that hasn't been decided yet. Let's say cloud plus energy. Oh, that creates storm. Flame plus energy. Explosion. Okay, what about hill plus energy? Okay, triggered. That's weird. That's what you get when the internet gets to decide. But you know, 1 bad egg out of 12, not a bad score. Let's see, storm plus flame. Okay, so this is what happens if that equation has not been created yet. It says, what should these create? And it shows you the equation. You get to decide what you think it should create. So let's say I think storm plus flame should equal water bottle. That's a really bad idea, but I could submit it. So then I go here, I choose a color, I type in what I want, and I click submit. And that's it. It'll be submitted, and now my say has been heard by the elemental computer. Database, I guess. Now it takes votes from a lot of people over a spread out period of time before an element becomes official. So voting again and again and again really quickly does nothing. By the way, don't go upvote water bottle, that was really dumb. So in this corner, you can see submissions from other people. If you decide you like that submission, you can click on it and then click submit. That's essentially doubling their vote because now your vote is the same as theirs, and that gets it closer to the voting threshold to become official. If you see a submission you don't like, well, originally there was nothing you could do about it, and the only thing you could try was to come up with a rival that would overtake it in votes. But due to a lot of bad elements coming into the game, I added a new feature which you probably just saw. It's a dislike button. And the dislike button is kind of like the opposite of the submit button. it'll make it less likely for this element to become official. So if I click dislike, it says suggestion disliked. And now Fireball is slightly less likely to become official. That was just an example though. So some other features you can try out are these 3 green buttons. The top one will randomly combine any 2 of your own elements. Sometimes you get lucky and you create a combination that actually works. But usually you get new ones that haven't done anything yet. So a storm plus a fireball, I'm going to say is a firestorm. If you click on random lonely suggestion, the database will search through all the suggestions so far and try to find ones with very few votes and show those to you, because that's a way for them to get off the ground. So if I click on it, I get this window. It's outlined in red because one of these 2 elements, lava plus electricity, I don't currently have, but I'm still allowed to vote on it just because. So we can see we have 2 votes for Ash. So this is just a way for you to get exposed to more ideas, and for ideas to get exposed to more people. And then finally, perhaps the most important button you can click is up and coming. It'll show you equations that are getting close to becoming official. This is really important because, well, first of all, because these elements are much closer to becoming official, there's a higher chance that when you click submit, you will cast the deciding vote. And then you get to comment the first comment on that element, and that's really cool. See, by the first comment, I mean like, click here. Oh, that's a bad Pioneer's mark, but the first person who creates an element gets to mark it with whatever they want. So yeah, you can see. You might want that, so that's one reason why to click up and coming. Another reason is that it's possible for really bad submissions to get kind of far in the voting process, but once it reaches the up and coming stage, it'll be exposed to more dislikes. So when you're browsing up and coming, be sure to dislike anything you don't like lotion, that's a dumb pun. That way, we can kind of self-moderate the elements. My hope is, even though a very focused group can get a lot of votes on one element, the up and coming button kind of brings a very broad audience to any up and coming equations, so you can't have any focused objectives there. Plant. Oh, we've got dir plant. So that's about it. Head over to the link and try to create some new elements. Right now we're at 1200, but I think it would be really cool if we could get that number higher. And if you're interested to see what new elements are coming out right now, you can always look at the news column where you can see the most recent additions to the game. So the newest equation is earthquake plus mountain equals landslide. That's a pretty good equation, but landslide already exists as an element, which is why it's not highlighted. It's more like a self-looping equation, and those are very important too, to make sure that the game kind of fills in all the cracks. Also, one last thing, I don't know why, but after a few minutes, this game starts to lag like crazy, so if that ever happens, just click this refresh button, and it refreshes the whole game and fixes the lag for whatever reason. But that reminds me, this game is nowhere near perfect. I pretty much made it in like 3 days, so I am working on tons of patches as we go. There's still a ton more features that I kind of consider necessary to this game that I haven't added yet, but I figured if I wait until this game is considered complete before I show it to you, I'm never going to get to show it to you. So here it is in the incomplete form, and realize that it's not perfect, so yeah, just have fun with it and see what we can do. And finally, the final note is, there are never too many trees, plus there are never too many trees, equals many green trees. Pretty nice, right? Goodbye! Oh, I also want to say, I was playing in incognito mode because I had my real game in normal mode, and I didn't want to reset my whole game just to show you how this game started, right? So these are all my elements so far. I only have 32% of them. And then one last thing, if you want to discuss anything that's going on in Elemental 3, go to the link in the description that will take you to the TWOW Discord, where there's a channel called Elemental that's created to talk about elemental stuff. I kind of wish they would change it to the actual name, but you know what? They're mods and they've got the power. I am so powerless. Now, actual buy.
1, 2, 3, 4.